Today, the former American president Donald Trump conducted a rather peculiar exclusive interview in the studio for the publication Politico. This was a video communication, and he actually granted this interview to a Politico journalist with Ukrainian roots. Her name is Dasha Burns. During his extensive discourse, Trump even clarified regarding Crimea, which he claimed was surrounded by oceans, and asked, "Dasha, you are from Ukraine, aren't you?" She just said yes. However, she never contradicted him. Apparently, she's also never seen a map of Europe, Eastern Europe, or the Black Sea region. Take a look at this truly incredible moment.
But
Furthermore, Trump seems oblivious to the fact that Crimea is not an island because an island is the only landmass that can be surrounded on all four sides by oceans, God forbid even by them. Crimea is a peninsula, but why bring it up? Let's be serious. Why did Donald Trump even mention Crimea? He stated that Ukraine is suffering significant losses due to the policies currently enacted by Volodymyr Zelensky. And because of this war, Ukraine has lost territories in Donbas and could lose more because Ukraine is losing. And Ukraine needs to acknowledge its defeat no matter what happens, just as it did with that other beautiful territory, which is Crimea. Indeed, a more powerful Russia seized Crimea, and it's imperative that we view this whole situation with realism. This excerpt about needing to look at things realistically, here it is. And this address to Volodymyr Zelensky, as I understand it, carries a hint of resentment. This is due to the fact that, in recent days, Volodymyr Zelensky has been entirely unwilling to align himself with Donald Trump's vision, which has caused Trump considerable displeasure, prompting this rather pointed message. He articulated a vision suggesting it's far better to yield now, rather than allowing people to perish needlessly for it. Consider this point. So, that's this segment. And then it is immediately succeeded by a rather lengthy discourse regarding Crimea. It's a significant point in the discussion. This passage about Crimea is quite critical for understanding the overall context of his views. So, is Ukraine actually losing the war? Dasha Burns inquires. And Trump's response is, well, they really lost that war quite some time ago. That is the logic Donald Trump is expressing today. Subsequently, there is still another intriguing episode. Here, let's just listen to another excerpt. The interview in general is quite, interesting enough. You can pick it apart for quotes, which is exactly what I did. Here, if you don't understand English, Donald Trump states that Volodymyr Zelensky is Barnum. He's Barnum. He repeats this characterization, emphasizing his view that Zelensky embodies the traits of a P.T. Barnum figure capable of great deception. This comparison suggests Trump views Zelensky as a skilled manipulator or showman. Barnum, that Barnum who could sell absolutely anything, anytime. He is a person who is truly capable of, orchestrating quite fantastic, indeed incredible deals. And I heard about Barnum in exactly the same manner as you did, just as you did. But I went to Wikipedia, and it truly was a surprise. So who exactly was Barnum, and what's the reason Trump is likening Zelensky to him? Well, look. Back in the 19th century, there lived a noteworthy person by the name of Phineas Taylor Barnum, who was an American showman, a businessman, and a politician. Well, there are indeed certain parallels, aren't there? He's quite famous he was renowned for advocating prominent hoaxes and establishing the Barnum and Bailey circus, is that right? So, a circus performer, showman, businessman, and hoaxer. In Donald Trump's opinion, that person is Volodymyr Zelensky. And why, Trump explains, is that so? Because only an individual akin to Barnum would have the audacity to request $350 billion from America, and President Biden indeed provided it to them. Without any guarantees, without any checks, and so on and so forth. This is the structural paradigm that Donald Trump currently embodies, and where the White House finds itself today, which essentially characterizes this current peace plan and the new national security strategy, wherein the Russian Federation is designated as a partner. A partner, not an enemy, not an alter ego. It's a partner. And when we were expressing surprise at Donald Trump's peace plan, we were still unaware of the existence of the new security strategy, which posits that the war in Ukraine poses an impediment to American stability, an element of disquiet that prevents America from concentrating on its own domestic concerns, from continuing to bear responsibility for international conflicts that occur beyond its own territorial boundaries, potentially even impeding its ability to trade, particularly with nations such as the Russian Federation and China. This is what we all, as a collective, simply cannot grasp or comprehend. We're trying, but we're starting to doubt it or something similar. And today, the Ukrainian leader is Barnum, a circus performer, showman, businessman, politician, and hoaxer who founded a circus. Ukraine, according to Trump, is a circus managed by Barnum Zelensky, and it, frankly speaking, offends honest American individuals, particularly the hardworking taxpayers, by deceitfully obtaining money that corrupt officials subsequently misappropriate. And as Donald Trump's son commented just 2 days ago, a significant portion, specifically half, of the luxury sports cars in Monaco are registered with Ukrainian license plates. This observation was made in one of his recent statements. So, do you now grasp what America's actual perception of Ukrainians is? Now let's add something else to this. Why the offense? Yes, I'm genuinely still attempting to grasp and fully articulate this, and also factor in Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to Downing Street that took place yesterday. The Telegraph newspaper reports that Trump's Ukraine peace deal is on the brink of collapse. The peace deal concocted by Trump for Ukraine is on the brink of collapse. Why is that the case? And why against the backdrop of this photo? The main component of this peace deal centers on the territory of Donbas. Ukraine still maintains this is a red line. Therefore, to prevent the surrender of Donbas right now, it's clear a fight is necessary. We already understand this plan. They understand it in the White House too. So, how long should the fighting persist? It must continue as long as it takes to secure a positive decision regarding the approval of the reparation loan. That's many billions of dollars, and you understand that perfectly well. And yesterday's story with this meeting of Macron, Starmer, you see Merz, and Volodymyr Zelensky, that meeting was about money. Trump openly states this, and the Telegraph has reported on it. Furthermore, Axios also released an incredibly scandalous article asserting that Zelensky went there simply to prolong matters and buy himself some time, and it is fundamentally misguided to be doing anything at Downing Street whatsoever. Everything is laid out here, and it's truly regrettable that Zelensky isn't reviewing peace proposals, but rather is traveling and engaging with Europeans who merely obstruct progress. But actually, my friends, things aren't all that bad. This meeting today is really developing. Starmer has now informed us that perhaps by next week, Belgium falls. They'll manage to pressure the Belgian government. Belgium, I should remind you, holds about 160 billion of this Russian money. The G7, excluding Japan, also voiced their support today. So perhaps we should call them the G6, right? That the money will be there, the money is coming. So what Volodymyr Zelensky is doing now allows us. To say that on Trump's level, for now, it's just resentment. How things will be after the 18th, when the summit happens and there's a decision, positive or negative, that's when we'll talk, I think, more seriously about territories. Currently, there is no justifiable cause for Ukraine and Volodymyr Zelensky to exhibit anxiety or to consent to this entirely perplexing proposition involving the removal of armed forces from the non-occupied sectors of the Donbas region.